Maria saw their sister Martha was back in the 80s. She was about 21 years old and left to do missionary work with a military-style Christian religious sect. Meet the Chavarria family. Right now, 11 of them are driving from California to Cibola County, New Mexico. While it might appear to be a fun family vacation, it's actually...
It's just like a good time for the family to heal together, and my parents also.
George and Lucy Chavarria just found out their older sister Martha is dead, even though she died of natural causes 11 years ago as a member of the Aggressive Christianity Missions Training Corps. In an unrelated case, its 2 leaders and 7 of its members have recently been charged with crimes against children. Lucy finally found out about her sister's death amid all the news coverage.
And it was just very devastating. We all took it really hard because we had hopes that someday we would see her again.
Lucy last saw her sister back in the 80s. Martha was 21 and wanted to join the group.
Just like full of spirit, you know, and just wanted to believe in God and just serve God all the time.
But Lucy says she became suspicious when Martha cut all ties with the family.
God wants families to be together, you know, love one another, even, you know, your enemy. So it just didn't seem right.
Did you try to get her to leave this group?
There wasn't very much we could do at that point, you know, because she was just really upset that we were trying to go against what she wanted.
According to the group's website, they recruit fearless and obedient disciples for God's army. The Chavarrias hope to visit Martha's grave on the Fence Lake compound tomorrow morning and maybe speak with the niece they've never met.
We want her to know that she has family, that she can count on us, that she knows that we love her.
Stand by.
Court documents allege the group started in Sacramento, where a former member sued for mistreatment and was awarded about $1 million in 1989. Investigators say the group showed up here in New Mexico a few years after that. For Target 7, I'm Megan Cruz.
Okay, thank you, Megan. Breaking news, we're following a fire near Socorro. Sky 7 just flew over that scene. Now, the fire has shut down Highway 60 in both directions. It is burning on private land in the Bosque. Officials tell us it is threatening the New Mexico Boys Ranch. So far, it has burned up to 30 acres.
Right now, police are searching for the driver of a car who hit and killed an 8-year-old boy while he was running across the street. Happened last night. This was at Louisiana and Trumbull in southeast Albuquerque, right around 8:30. Police say the child was thrown into the next lane and hit by another vehicle. He died at the scene. The first driver stopped. The other driver is the one who took off. Witnesses say that person was driving a red Dodge Durango.
Well, the state wants to try the teen accused of shooting 6 people at a Clovis library as an adult. Investigators say 16-year-old Nathan Jewett walked into the Clovis Carver Public Library on Monday and started shooting, killing 2 people and hurting 4 others. Today, officials filed the documents requesting Jewett be tried as an adult. Community members are now working to reopen that library. We'll hear about the progress they're making coming up in about 10 minutes.
Well, this might be a good time to consider carpooling, maybe public transportation. Prices at the pump are on the rise, in large part because of the aftermath of Tropical Storm Harvey. Well, the cost of filling up is going up. AAA reports the national average for a gallon of unleaded is at the highest it's been this year. Of course, part of the hike comes from the upcoming Labor Day weekend when prices do tend to rise. But the main factor is the aftermath of Tropical Storm Harvey. It's especially bad in parts of Texas, like Dallas, where lines are getting long.
I've been driving around for 35 miles looking for gas. This is the first station that I found that had gas. And I've been sitting in this line for about 35 minutes. So
some drivers are trying to conserve fuel by moving their cars the old-fashioned way.
I'm pushing my feet like a Flintstone.
The Department of Energy reports a number of Gulf Coast refineries are shut down, while others are not pumping out as much as normal. Less fuel drives up prices.
It's slowing down progress. We can't, finish the job that we're supposed to do. I mean, we can't, get to work like we're supposed to do today, and it's, holding everything up.
Including this man who bought a Ferrari and left the lot looking for fuel.
They didn't fill it up. They just gave me enough to, get to a gas station. So it's almost out.
AAA predicts the national average for gas prices will likely rise above $2.50, a high not reached in more than 2 years now. But they also say fuel prices should return to normal levels before the end of the month. you buy a Ferrari, you think you'd get a free tank,
gas,
right? At least a
least.
full tank there. This weekend, millions of Americans are expected to hit the roads. AAA predicting 35 million Americans will travel 50 miles or more over the Labor Day weekend. Saying that'd be a good time to check Traffic Watch 7 right now, see if people are headed out for the Labor Day weekend. Here's a look at the speeds right now on I-25 and I-40. You can see the slowdown south and north of the Big I. That 29 miles per hour just west of the Big I. That's that typical traffic heading over to the west side after a work day.
Well, many of you are getting ready to watch the Zobra burn. Here's Byron to tell you what to expect weather-wise coming up tonight.
It's looking better, Royal. We have some hazy skies out there. This is from the crest here in Albuquerque, and we're looking at some spotty storms around. The Zobra, though, is looking good right now. It'll be a summery evening out there. Let's get right to live Super Doppler 7. This was our concern, that we'd have some showers and thunderstorms around. We do have that, but you see Santa Fe right here, and the shower and thunderstorm activity is holding off to the north and west of Santa Fe. There is a slight chance that a shower could roll into the Santa Fe area this evening, so I still have it on the forecast here that we could see a spot gusty shower. Could be some gusts of wind out there, but right now it's looking better. Cooler breezes once the sun goes down. Temperatures will dip into the 60s. You might need a jacket by then or a hoodie, but out there right now looking at 88 in Albuquerque, near 90 for Carlsbad, 91 in Tucumcari, near 90 in Farmington right now, 81 on the Plaza in Santa Fe, and 63 in Raton. Rio Rancho right now sitting at a temperature of 92 degrees, so hot stuff out there. A slight chance of gusty shower storm this evening. More on your Labor Day forecast in just a bit. First, back to Todd.
Ongoing rescues today in parts of East Texas where the water is still rising in some areas. This as cleanup and recovery are just beginning in the Houston area. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez shows you the devastating impact of Hurricane Harvey.
Beaumont buried, dealing with a double dose of water troubles. The flooding still stranding people in their homes, and the water system paralyzed, nothing flowing into faucets in most parts of the city. The desperation leading to nearly 4-hour-long lines just to pick up bottled water. The ongoing problems forcing the evacuation of every shelter there. Families loaded onto military planes flown to Dallas and San Antonio.
We underestimated. We didn't thought it was going to be this devastating.
In hard-hit Houston, new calls for evacuations in some inundated neighborhoods.
Things are not going to change over the next 10 to 15 days.
And in East Texas communities now drying out. Families returning home, starting to clear out their soaked belongings.
Everything we own, it's gone, but it's okay.
And some uninvited guests, including this monstrous 11-foot gator.
Looked at it and asked me, "Is that thing real?" And I said, "Yes."
Finally captured and carried away.
And those brave guys say they're getting a lot of calls about animals in homes. Just one more challenge as people start coming back to the more than 185,000 homes in this state that were damaged or destroyed. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Bel Air, Texas.
Also heard about a lot of water snakes popping up on people's front yards. President Trump, he's meeting with disaster relief organizations that are helping Hurricane Harvey survivors. This comes as the White House prepares to ask Congress for more money to help these victims. Aixa Diaz is here to share what we know about this request.
Todd, President Trump says the White House is working on requesting emergency funding in what's expected to be a nearly $6 billion aid package. In the Oval Office, President Trump met with leaders from the Red Cross, Salvation Army, and Southern Baptist Disaster Relief.
They've already provided tens of thousands of displaced Gulf Coast residents with meals, water, shelter, fresh blankets, and clean clothing.
The president commended their work in the wake of Hurricane Harvey as the administration requests extra funding for the recovery effort.
The president is currently finalizing a supplemental request to support the needs of emergency responders at the federal, state, and local level.
While lawmakers are expected to approve additional funds, how they'll pass an aid package remains unknown. Some want the money attached to a bill raising the debt ceiling. Others want a clean disaster relief measure.
We expect Congress to move quickly.
Also today, President Trump signed a proclamation declaring Sunday a national day of prayer for the victims of the storm.
We invite all Americans to join us as we continue to pray for those who have lost family members and friends.
Tomorrow, the president and first lady are heading to Houston and Lake Charles, Louisiana to meet with Harvey survivors. In Washington, Aixa Diaz, KOAT Action 7 News.
Congress returns from recess on Tuesday and is expected to take up Harvey emergency funding soon after.
Well, President Donald Trump is expected to announce his decision on whether to end the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA program, next week. Now, DACA is an Obama administration policy that allows undocumented immigrants brought to the U.S. as children to stay and get work permits. Vice President Pence weighed in on the president's approach yesterday in Texas.
Well, President Trump has said all along that he's giving very careful consideration to that issue, and that when he makes his decision, he'll make it, as he likes to say, with big heart.
Despite pressure to keep DACA from 66 mayors and hundreds of major business leaders, the White House still hasn't announced a decision that would affect the nearly 800,000 so-called dreamers protected under the 2012 executive order. His decision is expected to be announced on Tuesday. The annual burning of Zozobra is just a few hours away, and 60,000 of you are expected to fill Fort Marcy Park to watch your glooms burn away. Action 7 News reporter David Carl is live there now.
Hey, Royal, as you said, 60,000 people. That would be a record number of people. More people may see Zozobra burn than ever before, and that's because of the bridge right there over my shoulder. And you may remember last year, one of the 3 footbridges that crosses over the Arroyo into Fort Marcy Park was closed because it had buckled just the year before. This year, that tiny footbridge is replaced by the massive one across the Arroyo.
Going from no bridge to now we have a 90-foot land bridge, which just allows us to, welcome more people. It allowed us to open up Majors Field a little bit more so that people could watch.
And the bridge will allow people in the park right across, as you heard there, across the Arroyo to see it for the first time. And organizers, as you said, Royal, say we could see more than 60,000 people. And as you can probably tell, the music's already underway here. Lots of stuff going on as we prepare. Old Man Gloom is set to burn at exactly 9:30, weather pending. Reporting in Santa Fe, David Carl, KOAT Action 7 News.
And if you're curious about Zozobra, head to our Facebook page. We've got an explainer on what the event is and old video showing what Old Man Gloom looked like decades ago.
Next on 7, a deadly shooting struck this New Mexico library just days ago. The heartbreaking work happening now to restore it and open it back to the public.
And CY security is increasing at Kirtland Air Force Base. These stories just minutes away.
And coming up on Action 7 News Live at 6, a New Mexico company that's supposed to be caring for those who can't take care of themselves shut down by the feds. That story at 6.
A lot of people out on the roads. It is, of course, the Labor Day holiday weekend, and Zozobra's going on as well. So we look at the speeds, I-25 northbound. Hey, this is good news. 69 miles per hour and 74 miles per hour up toward the Santa Fe area. We like to see that. Traffic appears to be moving smoothly. This is around Paseo and I-25, and you see that we're looking at a smooth flow of traffic there. Something we like to see. Everybody's doing a great job. Let's check out some drive times for you. This is what it looks like northbound I-25 Albuquerque to Santa Fe at 47 minutes. Right now we've got the green. That's good news. Eastbound 550, 528 I-25 at 7 minutes, and I-25 Albuquerque to Bernalillo at 14 minutes. Drive safely as you head out this evening and enjoy Zozobra and the Labor Day weekend. Right back.
You're watching KOAT Action 7 News live at 5.
It shocked the entire community. A shooting at a public library in Clovis. 2 people were killed, 4 others hurt. It happened Monday when officials say 16-year-old Nathan Jewett walked in and started shooting. And now people are working to reopen the library as quickly as possible.
Action 7 News reporter Justin Matthews is in Clovis tonight to show us what they're working on.
All that crime scene tape that was on the outside of this building is now gone, but even more changes are happening on the inside.
What there's to hope for is that it never happens again.
The community of Clovis still shaken up after Monday's deadly shooting at the library. Crews are spending their Friday painting and redoing the floor.
We're patching holes in the wall, in the drywall, repainting. We are replacing a section of the carpet.
Bookshelves are being repaired, and crews are filling in bullet holes and removing bloodstains.
Just a traumatic event, just the occurrence, obviously, of that taking place.
People have been coming by the library all day to look at the memorials and to drop their books off.
It's just shocking. But, all over the world, shocking things are happening today.
Gloria Woodland says she knew Wanda Walters, who was killed in the attack.
I used to come in and ask her what's good to read, because I like to read a lot, and she would, let me know.
Library employees will be given time to return to the building and get ready to work again before it opens back up to the public. The Clovis interim city manager says the library may open back up next Friday, but says it could take longer to finish repairs and get employees feeling comfortable at work again. Reporting in Clovis, Justin Matthews, KOAT, Action 7 News.
More students across New Mexico now have access to high-speed internet. Today, the governor announced more than 110,000 more children will get this at school. She says by the 2018 school year, she hopes to provide every student in New Mexico with the same thing.
I would believe strongly that every single child can learn, no matter their background, but it's up to us, parents, teachers, and community leaders to provide them with the tools they need to be successful.
Well, the governor says the initiative has reduced the cost of internet access by 60%.
New on 7, Kirtland Air Force Base is increasing its security to protect all of you who work and live on and near the base. The increased security means that there will be limited access to the base's gates that are on Wyoming and Gibson, and they'll only be open certain hours of the day instead of 24/7.
Well, KOAT is teaming up with the Red Cross to raise money for Hurricane Harvey relief efforts, and in the past 24 hours, we've collected more than $55,000. And we want to thank you for all of your help and remind you that the need will likely last still for months. Hurricane Harvey has left southeast Texas devastated. Images like these have consumed us all. The good news? Many of you are stepping up to help. We've raised $140. We've raised $760. Oh my gosh, it has now skyrocketed to $1,300. Since we started this newscast, we've raised more than $3,000. KOAT partnered with the American Red Cross to raise money for Harvey victims. And as the day went on,
ago is $4,035.
We've raised more than $5,000 since we've been live on air. So thank you. You, our viewers, helped raise tens of thousands of dollars. Jim Cusick of American Red Cross says it's money that's crucial to recovery efforts.
Just tell us what that money is going to be used for if you are donating today and tonight.
Okay, Red Cross's job is mass care, which includes bedding, cot, clothing, and food, medical supplies. So people left with nothing, they need all that.
And the need won't stop.
That money goes quick, so you have to get more money to reimburse that. And we're not talking weeks, we're talking months.
So while it's good to pat ourselves on the back, just know more donations will be needed. And we still need your help raising money. The easiest way to do that is to click on the link at KOAT.com. And wow, $55,000. That's awesome. Like we were hoping maybe to get $40,000 yesterday. Right. So we've exceeded that. How fantastic.